What is up, people? This is the Oracle. We are back online for another Legacy Cube draft. We got a pretty interesting pack here. Emrakul, I think it's not as good in this cube as it is in Vintage Cube, or for example, you just have sneak attack and that's it, basically. Or you can try to hardcast it by ramping a lot, I guess, but that's kind of not so realistic. You don't have access to Through the Breach, you don't have access to Channel. So even though I can like first picking Emrakul from time to time in Vintage Cube, I don't think it's really good here. Joragas Tree Speaker is just pretty good all around, we could just go with that. Swords is a very good reroll. And then I guess Liliana is somewhat interesting. And I guess Lingering Soul's strong, but not sure if you want to commit to Black-White Token this early in the draft. So to me it seems like a Tree Speaker is just the best option here. And yeah, I'm just gonna do that. I would not mind first picking Sword, it's just so good and I just like blue-white control deck, but I tend to play that a lot, so pretty happy to do something else. And we kinda got rewarded here because Natural Order is super busted and one of the very best reasons to be green, in my opinion. Edric could be a nice card to wheel if we end up, you know, getting more mana dorks and having the option to splash for blue. Glen is busted. Glen would be my pick here if I had first pick the Swords Plowshare, I guess. Held Fountain's nice fixing. This Liliana is pretty good, but yeah, seems like an easy Natural Order as a follow-up to Tree Speaker. I've been pretty impressed with Tireless Tracker. I actually did not play that card yet in this last iteration of Legacy Cube, but I've played against it and it was also always amazing. It also happens to be a cheap green creature, which is not nice for Natural Order, but it's just nice. It's good in late game, good early, just great card all around. Keranos is great, but we're not running these colors. Follower could be good, you know, if the Edric wheels and these wheels too, we might just end up blue-green. But yeah, seems like an easy tracker for now. Okay, I think we're just picking Fertile Ground, which is fine, just cheap green ram spell. Don't think we're interested in anything else. I guess this is a little bit worse than a creature would have been, because with Natural Order we want as much creature as possible, but I still think it's the pick here. There's nothing else that's very interesting for us. Wood Elves, okay. Definitely like Wood Elves more than Sylvan Advocate. I don't think Advocate is very good in Cube. Like, if you're playing green, you want to cast either Acceleration, Mana Dorks, or big things, and just a mid-range creature is not exactly where you want to be. Harmonize is very good too. So yeah, it's between Wood Elves and Harmonize. And again, I don't think Sylvan Advocate is close. I think I'll go with Harmonize, it's a bit more unique. There's a bunch of ramp in green, don't have that many draw, so I think I like the Harmonize. Nissa, World Waker, Den Protector. Don't mind Den Protector, I do like Eternal Witness quite a bit more though. I guess Sword of Fire and Ice is also an option. Usually you have a bunch of cheap creatures and having a way to make them good is nice, and this is probably the best sword, like, at least it's my favorite, it's just really good. Nissa World Waker is really nice too, tend to overwhelm the opponent with 4/4 very quickly, also helps ramping. This is one of the best Nissa in Cube. I think it's pretty close between that and the sword. I'll go with the Nissa, but maybe sword is better. Two very good options for us. I like this start, we can use some more cheap creatures and ramp, but having both Harmonize and Tireless Tracker means we are pretty good regarding card advantage already. I mean, you don't have, it's not like, I mean, you can get better card advantage, obviously, but in green you don't have that many other ways, except for Planeswalker, I guess, that generate card advantage over the course of a couple turns. So it's really nice to have these two card draw spells, and Order is just super strong. I think I'll go with Duplicant here. I think Mono Green is the best deck to play Duplicant. First, you have a bunch of mana, so 6 is not that hard to cast, and second, you don't really have access to Removal, so having a Removal is even more valuable. I think Sword of Light and Shadow is one of the worst sword so I'm not too interested in that. And I don't think dummy red is good enough where you want to go red for it. Okay. Verdor's Gearhulk I don't think it's super appealing. A little bit like how it's called. Sylvan Advocate is a bit too much of a mid-range creature, and I think you want to cast bigger things, but it's still an 8/8 for 5. If we get better 5-drop, we'll play better 5-drop, but if we don't get them, we'll play Gearhulk. I don't think Green Warden is super appealing. It is card advantage though. I think this card might be better than it looks like. Actually, I'm gonna pick the Warden, maybe play it. Huh. Lingering Souls Wield. Thicat. Don't think Walker is great. I think we'll pick Thicat in case we want to splash for white or play some white. Thran is nice to have in maybe in the main, but at worst it's a very good sideboard option. Worst case scenario, Dismember is nice again if you know, if we have a lot of trouble against one card and we really need to bring in Removal, it's nice to have access to that in the side. Though I guess the one thing you might be very worried about would be how it's called, Mirran Crusader, but it's pro green and pro black, so Dismember doesn't help a whole lot. Duplicant does help with that though. Don't think I'll play Surak, I don't like the card a whole lot. Advocate, still not interested in that. I think there's higher chance I won't splash for red. And it is pretty important to note that neither Edric, neither follower wield, so there's probably someone else playing blue-green at this table somewhere. We still got enough playables, and you know, there's enough stuff where there can be 2 green players at the table, but we're definitely not alone here. And probably the dude who'd pick Edric is gonna be wanting to pick some Llanowar elves and whatnot, so we cannot really expect to wield these. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, I don't think it's that great, but it's cheap, it pressures deck. It's decent against aggressive deck, just having fairly high loyalty and putting chump blockers. I think it's better than Ranger. I don't think this card is amazing, though. I think, again, when you're playing green, you want to cast big stuff or ramp, and this doesn't do either. It is still pressure, and with the new Planeswalker rule, I don't really mind playing a bunch of Nissas. Otherwise, it could be a bit more clunky. Sundering Titan is an option, too. Maybe it's better. I guess maybe we'll end up being more of a mid-range deck, though. Right now, we don't have a lot of ramp. What I don't like about Titan right now is that we want our big creatures, our big finishers to be green because of natural order. We want something like Terastodon, Craterhoof Behemoth, Woodfall Primus, and Sundering Titan being colorless is somewhat clunky, and you don't want to end up playing too many 8-drops, and we really want our 8-drops to be green. It might still be right to pick it, but I think I'll just go with Nissa. Kind of a close one. Ooh, Rathalos. Super nice, super strong. Especially since now right now it looks like there's a decent chance we end up in mono green. Garruk would be fine, but this is quite a bit better. Bird of Paradise, Gaia's Cradle. Ooh. Not interested in Dragonlord. I really think we want to be mono green if possible. I guess it's something you can tutor with Order, which is nice. If it wheels, maybe I'll consider it. As of now, I think we want to pick Bird or Cradle. Cradle is super good, but right now we don't have that many cheap creatures. It can be somewhat of a liability sometime too. If things go right and we end up with enough cheap creatures, Cradle's gonna be better. But we know there's probably another green player at the table trying to get those cheap creatures because they have Edric. So I think we might have to pick the Bird. Because depending on what we end up having, Cradle might not be super reliable. It is the stronger card, obviously, but I think it's slightly safer to pick the Bird. Maybe I'm just a little bit too conservative here, but I'll go with Bird. Also, we have this natural order, so if we end up with not enough cheap green creature, it's kind of a big problem, which is another reason to pick Bird. Well, we got our fatty, at least one fatty we can cast, we can fetch off order. So that's nice. Sakura Tribeller is decent. Extra green creature for order is just, you know, quite good. It's not like the best thing ever, because obviously, unlike Rathalos or I don't know, Devoted Druid or Sylvan Caryatid, you cannot go turn 3 that, I mean turn 2 that and into turn 3 order, which is kind of busted. It doesn't really work with Sakura Tribeller, but still pretty nice. Don't think Regrowth is very interesting. Shuck's super strong, but not in our colors. Warhammer, I don't know. I don't think this card should be in the cube. I think it might just be Metamorph. Metamorph is pretty nice. Don't mind main decking it. It's just a good card, I think. I don't mind having access to that. I'm not sure I want to main deck it, but it's nice to have access to the Elder. Another option is Raging Ravine. Ravine? Is it Ravine? I guess it's Ravine actually, but either way. If we wield the Dragon Lord Atarka, maybe this is interesting. We really want a lot of forest though, so for Rathalos, so I'm not even sure. I think I'm just gonna pick Elder for the main or the side. We already have 2/6 drops that are pretty good. I think Balos is fine, but not like usually when you hit 6 mana, you don't have a lot of lands left. I think I'd rather have the things for the side, or for the main. You know, it's pretty good natural order. Pretty good natural order. How you call that? Enabler, sack outlet. The Titan wield somehow, which I did not expect. I think we'll play it, especially if you're in mono green. Card is really nice. I think Jade Light is again a little bit like how it's called. Damn, I always forgot. Sylvan Advocate, a little bit too mid-rangey for green cube decks. A 4/3 for 3 in cube is just not good. Like, you would not play a 4/3 for 3. A 3/2 for 3 that gives you 1 land is fine, but not insane. And a 2/1 that gives you 2 lands, it's fine, but it's a little bit like Lee. I mean, you have an Elder at the end of the day, maybe a little bit worse, and I don't even think Elder is that good, so I don't know if I love that card. Willing Garruk is nice. You know, maybe someone took Edric and the follower and then realized we were cutting a lot of the green, or someone was cutting a lot of green rather, and they did not continue to pick green cards. So maybe we're actually going to wield the Cradle, who knows. Because Garruk was one of the, I guess there might have been some good blue cards in the booster, and maybe they took that over Garruk, but Garruk wheeling is definitely a good news for us. Okay, let's pick Grove, in case we end up searching for white, who knows. This is 16 playable. 16 cards I'm happy to put in the main deck, and then we obviously have 4, even 5 cards that are main deckable. Just for me, they stand more like sideboard option than main deck cards, but they are highly main deckable. Okay, well, we'll probably have a decent matchup against Mono Red at least, with Baloth and Kitchen Things. And I guess Thrun is also really good against Mono Red, I think. In cube at least. Regrowth. Don't love Managorge or Hydra. Maybe we'll play Regrowth, who knows. Carnage Tyrant. I don't even think this is great. We might just want a Hornet Queen, which is a very solid natural order target and a good 7. Card has impressed me. The more I play with the card, the more I like it. I used to be like kind of not a big fan of Hornet Queen, but I really like it now. The other option is obviously Sword of Body and Mind. Currently we don't have a lot of... I guess the thing is Hornet Queen is pretty likely to wheel. Sword is really nice actually. Yeah, and Sword is not gonna wheel. This might just wheel. I think we'll go with Sword. But Hornet Queen would be good here. I really hope we end up with a second order target, because if obviously if we have the Woodfall in hand, it's a bit clunky. I mean, we can fetch a Green Warden is just not super exciting. I think we'll grab Elder. I like it slightly more than Rishkar. Don't really like either, but if I have to choose, it's gonna be Elder. Nissa, Vital Force, Courser of Kruphix, Umezawa's Cheetah. Cheetah is kinda sick, I think we have to pick it, though currently we don't have a lot of creatures. But now that we are probably playing 2 equipments, run get a lot better. Same with things. In general, creatures that are difficult to deal with, you know, pretty nice with equipment. I hope we get more cheap creatures though. Right now our deck is kind of somewhat clunky because of the lack of 2 and 1 drop. Spellskite's not bad though, doesn't work very well with Cheetah. Skooz I don't think is great. I guess we'll just pick Garruk. I really hope we get 1 or 2 more creatures. But here you can see how if we had picked the Cradle, it would be clunky, right? We would have only 12 creature. We would not have the bird. Cradle would be pretty bad here, so picking the bird was probably the safer move. Not a big fan of Wall, but we don't have a lot of 2-drops, and it's a decent card to go with Order. I don't think Reach super appealing, so Primal K, sure, we'll play that probably. Rexage not too appealing when we already have access to Elder in the side, so deck is really lacking a couple more 1 and 2 drop. Otherwise it's pretty good. And I guess a second big green card would be nice. I think we'll play that Fauna Shaman just because we're light on 2s. And it's not bad. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think it's gonna be completely fine here. And we want more cheap creatures that can attack for the equipments. Maybe we'll play... I don't mind the Wall because of Natural Order, but it really doesn't match up very well with our equipments, so... Maze for the sides. Yeah, the deck is a little bit more mid-rangey than I wish. Also, I was hoping to get another fatty, and we did not wield the Hornet Queen. Carnage Tyrant is actually kind of sick with Sword and Cheetah, so I think we'll play it. Probably gonna play that over Green Warden. Also, I guess it's not the most impressive, but yeah, it's still, I mean, turn 3 or 4 Tyrant of Order is kind of great. And this card is insane with Sword and Cheetah again. So again, yeah, the deck is a little bit more mid-rangey than I expected, with some 3, 4, 5 drops and equipments, but I think it's pretty good all around. My type of green deck I like the most is just a bunch of ramp and then a bunch of super strong 5 to 8 drop, and like you almost don't have any 3s and 4. I mean, you don't really use your 3s and 4. This deck is again a bit more mid-rangey, but I think it's good. The problem is, you know, we're mono green, so we don't have any Ringvol almost, and this could hurt us. I guess the somewhat good news is that Garruk is removal, Duplicant is removal, Primal Command and Cheetah can also help, so we do have a little bit of interaction. It's not completely lacking interaction. Gonna play Courser over things in the main, and the Skooz wheel too. Might just main deck Skooz. I think this deck wants the cheap creature. Maybe we're not playing Sundering Titan. I think we don't have enough ramp. Don't mind the 1 Primus because of Order, but I think we'll just jam that and 16 Forest, basically. Very simple, but... yeah, again, deck... I mean, I'm gonna stop saying it, because I've said it 10,000 times, but yeah. One last time. More mid-rangey than what I usually play, but seems interesting. So... let's just jam that. Alright. Yeah, that's gonna be the deck. I hope you enjoyed the draft. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you for round 1.